We'll go ahead and watch the commentary here by Leaflit. Full analysis.
For some information on the video to do like kind of a breakdown, like a little references breakdown, and just talk about it. I already did one previously, but it wasn't apparently very good for the video, so we're gonna go through it right now. And this is for the put them in the box video. So the first thing I want to say is a lot of people asked me what did I use for it. I used a bunch of different stuff, AI stuff. I went for images, I used Sora 1. Sora 1, I used Gemini with Nano Banana, and I also used Grok as well. So the ones that I used Grok for, I used Grok specifically for ones that I had an idea of what I wanted it to be, but not a vision of like the direct like image. Like I knew what the elements of the image were gonna be, and I didn't really know the ideal. Thank you so much. I didn't know like the ideal comp for it. So like those ones I kind of used Grok for, and I also use Grok in general. For stuff that was like more complicated that I had to generate a high amount of images to get to, and
Grok is pretty good at handling complicated things, I've noticed. I rather like using Grok myself. It comes with my premium subscription to X, so that helps. And it's good, I think. It's a good practice program to use out of all the AIs, I think. I have not played with Suno, though. And Suno, I believe, is the music writing AI. I would like to get better at it, though, because I would like to just see what it can do in terms of creating new music, or perhaps even creating some type of royalty-free covers. There are some pieces of classical music that I would like to recreate, not have to worry about copyright issues. And it seems like Suno might be able to do that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm quite inspired by Leaflit here. I definitely want to learn more about how to use AI and get better at it. And all of you out there, I would suggest, I mean, the tools are here now. There's really not much that you can do. I mean, we're not putting the genie back in the bottle. We're not putting the toothpaste back in the tube. You can either accept it and deal with reality in the here and now, or you can continue to sort of spit against the wind and just get spittled all over your face. It's here. It's not going away. It's going to see more widespread use. You might as well just learn how to use it and learn how to make it work for you. Toothpaste back in the tube is an interesting one. Yeah, you can't get toothpaste back in a tube. We can't turn back the clock. We can go back to the old ways, but we can't turn back the clock. Cool, they're not long at all, so you could check them out in your free time and stream it. Awesome.
Talk about which one specifically I used Grok for. Most of it was Nano Banana, and I used Sora for ones where like Gemini was being a bitch, because Gemini is like kind of a bitch AI. It will always complain about, oh, like this is a little bit too sexual. Oh, this person looks a little bit too much like a real person, and it'll.
Gemini being the Google AI, which is anyone surprised by that at this point? Is anyone surprised by that? One of the reasons I like to use Grok AI, it doesn't bitch at you about that sort of thing.
It'll kind of bitch out and just not do it. So I just use Sora for those, because Sora is actually pretty good at that nowadays. So yeah. Those are like the ones I use for images. For videos, I used Veo3, Kling, Veo3 Kling, Sora, and Grok Imagine. Grok Imagine being like kind of my daily driver for it. It's just really good. Like it's really, really it's just solid and it's fast. It's like a good combination of fast and like actually having like consistency.
If I am on a tight deadline, which I usually am with this sort of thing, funds are obviously limited, and I need some sort of cover art that, you know, I can't get through existing elements, I will ask Grok Imagine to generate some sort of image for me. like recently, the artwork of my VTuber model dressed up as Naked Snake from Metal Gear Solid Delta, that was created through Grok Imagine. And I've had some other ones that I've worked on and done, but some of them were just, sort of prototypes, not really happy with them, and, some of these turn out to be just duds or things for collabs that end up falling through or something like that. Which, by the way, talk of collabs, but one coming up tomorrow, Damien Demore, who's here in chat, and also Elijah Knightley and I will be gathering again to talk politics of the week. So you won't want to miss that. And then, I think I'm safe to go ahead and announce this, but 7th of February, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, it's finally happening. Our dear lovely Amalgamite is going to be collabing with his lordship, so you won't want to miss that. VOD Bros, look for the VOD on the, probably not the YouTube channel. I'm probably going to make that a Rumble exclusive. I'm not going to be able to stream that on Twitch, because Amalgamite has been permabanned on Twitch, so the stream will be exclusively to Kick and Rumble. But you won't want to miss that. So do make sure that you're subscribed to me over on Rumble and also kick.com/Lord Rexworth. I found very spicy content to discuss. I've seen some of that, yes. Congrats on the collab, yes. Spicy content is making me wonder if I should forego any sort of streaming on Twitch and just do Kick and Rumble only. We might have to do that. I'm not sure. We shall see.
And framing. Kling I used for a lot of like frame to frame, and then I used Sora for high action stuff and Kling for high action stuff. Just kind of depends on like the how specific the thing was. And then I edited. I also used Suno, ChatGPT, and Gemini for like kind of like LLM assistants, and then I used Premiere and Photoshop to do all of the editing. Adobe, Photoshop, and Premiere. All right, we'll go.
She's using Premiere. Wow. I don't know. I was about ready to tear my head out trying to use any Adobe programs, especially Premiere. It seemed like it was making things a lot harder than it had to be. So personally, I made the switch over to DaVinci Resolve, and oh my god, it's so much easier for me to use. I don't, and it could be that she's just used Adobe products for much, much longer than I have. Which that makes sense. It would be something she's used to. But yeah, I was about to pull my hair out trying to get videos edited in Adobe Premiere. And I just finally closed it out, uninstalled it, installed DaVinci Resolve, and all of a sudden it was like a fog had cleared and everything became easier and the workflow became much smoother, and I was able to actually get the things done that I wanted to get done. I don't know. Maybe I'm just... Maybe it's just... My brain is not wired properly to handle a lot of Adobe products. I mean, I'm fine with like Acrobat and Acrobat Pro, but yeah, Premiere, not so much.
Go through the video and I'll kind of talk about it. So before I start watching the video, one thing that is kind of interesting about it is I did it out of order. So this was actually this scene and this scene were the first two that I did, and then I fast forwarded, did this part all the way to the end, and then I went back and did this scene because I was kind of having some creative block. Like I was just kind of head empty. I couldn't really think of like what to put here. And I'll go through why I put what I put there. All right, here we go. What I used for song and sounds, that would be Suno 5. So anyway, here is like a leaflet featuring the bald. So if you're wondering why it says like featuring the bald, it's because when I make a Suno persona, which is I intend to use the character again in the future for like other songs, the style and the voice for like future songs. I will put this because it basically lets me know personally that like I had like a specific persona for that. So like if I want to do it,
I find that rather interesting that you have to create a musical persona to use parts of Suno, but it also makes sense. It's almost like creating a virtual musician, and then your prompts are like handing them the sheet music or giving them the ideas for them to go sketch out on blank sheet music. By the way, I'm British too. Ah, huzzah! Welcome in, my dear fellow.
in the same style. Song is like Put Them in the Box. Beep Boop Beep Boop 2 is the album. So if you're interested in like listening to it, it's available on a lot of things. Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Deezer, Tidal, Claro Music, Pandora. It's on a lot of things. And
Damn,
Info
she went
Studios
hard.
is like just my studio. It's a company. So it started off like kind of I just kind of wanted like a character establishing here. So I did like for this one, I specifically had the camera do like, you know, over the shoulder. And then I had like him scrolling like, you know, Twitter and like social media. Then
I would be very interested to know what sort of prompts or wording she put in to have this sort of this tracking shot of sorts, where it moves around the illustrated Asman here. I'd love to know more about a lot of the prompts that she put in to get this sort of result. Very interesting.
just wanted like kind of just now like just what he sees on there. And again, like I kind of did these towards the end. So I did these towards the end, and I had asked Julio, I said, Julio, can you just give me a bunch of clips? And a bunch of clips of like really annoying like leftist shit. And so like I got the clip from
God bless
the
Julio.
ma'am clip, and then he gave me about like
It's
10
ma'am
clips, and these are the ones I went with. Went with this one because everyone knows it, everyone can hear it. This one because it's relevant, and then this one because it's another one that's just like very. Then we've got the Venezuela raid. Venezuela like boats.
Sinking of the boats.
And like the reason there's like a square here is because the original video is censored, and I just left it in. Now I had some people complain to me about this not being a loop. I could have easily made this a loop. If you look, it actually doesn't loop. So if you look at the actual image in the background, you'll see it skips. You can barely see it.
Yeah, you can
That
hardly
it's not
tell.
like an actual loop. And do you want to know why I didn't make it an actual loop? The reason why is who the fuck cares? Nobody can see it anyway, unless you're like, again, one of those people like in Itami's video that's like nitpicking every single fucking frame so that you can bitch about it. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
fuck
Like
those
nobody gives a
people.
shit. It doesn't affect
Yeah.
anyone's like viewing
Fuck
experience. So I
those
didn't
people.
even
Fuck
worry
those
about making a loop.
haters.
Like literally, guys, if I wanted to make it a loop, literally what I would have done is taken the same video, copied it, made another instance, stitched those together, and then changed the other one negative 100 speed, and it would have made it the perfect loop. And I just didn't
Ain't
do it
nobody
'cause
got
it's
time for that.
Who cares? You know the box was supposed to represent something? No. Alright, so here for these parts, I didn't really know what to do here. But since Hassan and Asmund are like the big fighters at the end, I was like, well, I want to have like contrasting of like their lives. Like the way, like kind of to establish like who they are as characters in their rivalry, right? So what I did was I had them both walking to like kind of show the difference, right? So like here's like a little bit of like just insight into like what I was thinking. So here, if you look at the difference between the two, and like this was intentional, is that Hassan is kind of very flamboyant about his power level. Like the way I see him like as a person, and like, you know, I'm not necessarily like ragging on him or whatever. I just feel like he kind of would show off. He would kind of show it off. You know what I mean? So that's why he's walking around like with his fucking Chidori in his hand, because he's like.
And if you have to show off like that, you're probably not all that in a bag of crisps. That's the thing about Asmund. He doesn't really show off. He's just not being an avid Asmund Gold watcher, but a sort of casual Asmund Gold clip and VOD enjoyer. He has always struck me as a bit of a dark horse. I've always liked his sort of quiet confidence, never coming off as arrogant, but confident enough that he's
Hello there.
secure in his position. Pyonli, hello, how are you, dear? And in a way of, some people push back on him. I love his response. It's so consistent of, okay, we'll see. And more often than not, he is either correct or just correct ahead of schedule. I found with a lot of my own predictions, a lot of my own reading of where things are going in the world, it's oftentimes the same thing. I'm either right or I'm just ahead of schedule. Although there are occasions where I get things wrong. Is Asman a Dr. Pepper enthusiast? I saw the cup in his hand. Megalyn, welcome in. Yes, he is. He's almost always downing a Dr. Pepper. Yes, Asman is such a Dr. Pepper enthusiast he can't stand water. Talk of which, I actually have a Dr. Pepper with me right now. He's just a nerd that found himself being the main character. Yeah, just sort of stumbled into it. Didn't mean to. Fucking base. Dr. Pepper is the best. Dr. Pepper is the best. Especially the Waker variety of Dr. Pepper, the one that's made with real sugar. That and Japanese Dr. Pepper. Japanese Dr. Pepper's really good too, which I think it might be made with real sugar. I'm not 100% sure on that. Though ironically enough, distributed by Coca-Cola Japan, but it tastes really good. Doing okay, sir? How are you? I'm doing alright. I am still quite chuffed that I was featured in a music video that Leaflit did here. Not gonna lie, can't do carbonated beverages. Yeah, they're probably not the best for you, but some taste really good. Like Dr. Pepper. Or alternatively, RC Cola, which I believe is owned by the same parent company as Dr. Pepper. A lot of people, as an alternative to Dr. Pepper, they'll drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi. RC Cola, which is short for Royal Crown Cola, is bit of a rarer find, not widely available everywhere, but when I do see it, at a petrol station or a truck stop or something like that, I do tend to grab a bottle of it, just because I've always liked it. No, never mind the taste, just the texture is too much. Too fizzy for you. I've tasted Dr. Pepper, sir, I don't like it. That's alright, Pyonli, nobody's perfect.
He's like mad strutting. He's got that mad strut. And then it contrasts it now. He's got this expensive dog next to him, really expensive, like nice clothes. And then he, for a commie, right? And then he's got his, he's showing his power off to everybody.
Yeah, it's the classic champagne.
And then you have
socialist.
Asmongold here, who's like, I'm just drinking a fucking Dr. Pepper, walking down the street in a suburb.
Confirmed, that is Dr. Pepper.
He's just basic ass fucking shit, right? And that was kind of the idea behind it, is kind of showing a little bit and them getting ready for the battle. So he puts the, how does he start? He gets ready for stream by putting the fucking collar on Kaya.
Poor doggo.
Then Asmon gets ready by throwing away his alarm clock. So that's kind of what... That's kind of what they are. In the original version, he actually throws the mouse... He throws a rat out of the window, but I just didn't think that was really practical. I was like, he just throws it away in his kitchen.
Just yeets it out of the kitchen window. Honestly, I think that would have been funnier. Well, this turned out all right. I want to watch this. Lol. Check the chat for Twitch, for Kick, and for Rumble. I posted the link in there.
And so this is one thing about this specific scene is I actually bookended this. So if you look at the very end of the video, so this is where I started working on it, right? So all of this is kind of just like prologue, right? So the video actually starts right here on this frame, and this is actually the last frame too. So if you look, he ends in the same spot, right? And it's bookended. The actual story is bookended. That was on purpose, right? So here I literally, if you look at the actual text, you can see Asmongold and Die are both highlighted. And that's because I literally just searched Asmongold Die on X and I got all of these. And there were way more of them. I just didn't want to clutter the screen. So and this was actually just kind of really lazy, honestly.
I guess I'll know I've made it if I start getting a lot of death threats like this, and people wishing for my death, I guess then I'll know I've made it. Right now, it's, yeah, still in the process of getting noticed, but growing. And by the way, chat, close to 1,000 followers on X. Do tell your friends, x.com/Lord Rexworth. Who says you haven't? Well, I mean, I would notice that sort of thing of people issuing death threats against me, which they have yet to do. But I figured it's just a matter of time.
Like the way I did this, I just had them just like kind of like hand animate, like scroll across using like positional controls, positional timeline controls, and like I didn't really care, to be honest. I just put the one.
I also don't really fear that sort of thing because, like our dear lovely Leaflit here, she and I reside in the same state with very strong commitment to the Second Amendment, and I exercise that right quite vigorously. So, not really, I don't exactly have an arsenal like her, but I do possess the means to defend myself. We'll just put it that way.
Ones that I could. I just didn't want to like completely take over the background, but it's got all the goblins, and the goblins in the video kind of represent like the low tier haters, you know, like the
That's all of them though.
Sneering, exactly, the useful idiots, exactly void useful
That's
idiots.
all of them.
They're basically just the you know, the NPCs basically that are screaming on the internet. Like they don't even have the courage to even go out. Does that make sense? Like they don't even like. They're the ones that are like, yo, somebody should do something about Asman. He's the worst. I hope he dies. It's like literally like these goblins.
Yeah.
Like they won't even go out.
Little keyboard warrior basement dwellers. That's all they are.
All them protest. Like they're just absolute pussies. And this one's just, you know, just Wojak. Not as much meaning behind that. So this one, people were wondering about the Communist Manifesto and like the commie thing.
Oh, yeah,
I literally told
that.
it to put the Communist Manifesto in there. So like that wasn't like you know, a lot of like AI people who are like, they hate AI and they like kind of see it about AI. And they would probably think that the Communist Manifesto was just on the table, like through the prompt. It wasn't. I literally like had to tell it to put it there on the table. So like in the vision of like when I made this, I wanted it to be an, so the prompt for it included that it would have the Communist Manifesto on the table. So like this is based on a keyframe, by the way. So like
it might be one of those things where you have to really specify it in a sentence, and even then the AI doesn't always get it right, doesn't always do exactly as it's told, so you have to sort of go in with a follow-up comment of place a book titled The Communist Manifesto on the table next to the keyboard, near the coffee mug and the computer monitor, etc., etc. This woman can ramble forever. Yes, but we love her rambling. I could listen to her all day and all night, and oftentimes I have listened to her all night. I have, hopefully she doesn't take this the wrong way, but I've even fallen asleep to her streams because, you know, that's just how much of a comfort she is. Exactly. No, that wasn't a dig. Ah, all right.
A little bit of explanation of like how like these are made. These are made off of keyframes.
You kind of have to be able to ramble forever if you want to be a
Some of them
streamer.
I didn't even save. I just kind of copied them. But it's possible I have it. Let me look. So here's the keyframe. You can literally see that this is the original keyframe, right? So the Communist Manifesto was already on the table.
The keyframe being the still image that was generated in AI, and then adding motion to that. This is a bit of an education for me, chat, and I'm sure it is for everyone else watching, on just how did she do all of this? Really, if she wanted to teach a sort of masterclass on all of this, she could do it, and she'd do quite well.
Because this was the keyframe for the video. So I would take this keyframe.
I would do it, but I don't have the equipment or space at the moment. Yeah, the equipment, I would say you'd better hurry, especially as far as PC parts go, because RAM's not cheap anymore. Neither are hard drives, and graphics cards aren't getting any cheaper as well. I wouldn't. If you know how to build your own PC, go for it. Dual monitor setup at a minimum, and get yourself either an RE320 Electro Voice XLR microphone or a Shure SM7B and plug that into a Rode Streamer X, like what I do. I mean, if you've got a small corner in a bedroom like what I do, you can have a small-ish computer desk that holds a lot on it, and it'll serve you well. I may have to clean some things off and take a photograph of my streamer setup at some point, but yeah, it's fairly good. I would say it served me well, but as long as it has, I mean, going on over 2 years now, nearly 3, and yeah, I've no complaints. I'm happy with it. Glad I spent a considerable amount of money on my PC in 2024. Yeah, you got in while everything was still relatively cheap in comparison to today. But yeah, a decent desktop PC. You don't need a super fancy webcam to capture for the Vtuber model or even to capture video. If you just want to be a Flash streamer. Yep, like you talking about my streaming setup, lol. Oh, similar setup for yours, eh? Yeah. Some of the people used a different type of mixing board from the Rode Streamer X. Can't remember which one it was. I know it's one that for many years CDog VA used as his mixing board. I think the parent company ended support for it, but I just went with the Streamer X just because it knocks out a lot of either optional extras or a lot of the things that you would need like a Stream Deck for. You know, I've got certain buttons here on my Streamer X that I can program for different things. You know, I can censor something, or
you know, I can do a voice disguise or something like that.
I can also sound like I've just inhaled a whole lot of helium.
And then, you know, you've also got sound effects, you know, whenever I need to feel better about myself. And then I've got multiple pages of all of these funny sounds. Some of them are redeems, and some of them, if I just want to play them myself, I just play them.
Oh my god!
I would probably be a PNG. Yeah, no, that's perfect way to start out. Perfect way to start out. That's the way I started out as a PNG tuber, then built a sort of pre-built model using existing parts, but you can always just go out and get a pre-built model. Siblins is a good place to start if you're looking for something. But yeah, anyways, back to the video.
And use this keyframe in order to animate out the whole thing. So it was all intended, like the three-quarter shot over the shoulder, high angle on a computer with like the Wojak guy.
That sort of terminology, three-quarter shot over the shoulder, necessary terminology in order for the AI to understand what it is that you're wanting. I mean, just missing one or the other, like three-quarter shot. Okay, but which direction do you want the camera pointing? Otherwise, this is going to default to front-facing, you know, directly facing the Wojak lad here. Over the shoulder, but no three-quarter shot. It could end up putting this directly behind, so that mostly what you see is just the back and the glow of a computer screen, and probably not even have a good angle to show the Communist Manifesto. So all of these little things, they add up, and they're quite necessary. Because in the end, it's like the old saying goes, computers only do what you tell them to do, not what you want them to do. And so it oftentimes with things like this, we are talking hundreds, even thousands of different variations, and having to constantly add on little bits of instruction, sometimes take away little bits of instruction, and revert back and regenerate from there. There's a lot more that goes into it than you might think for those of you who don't really use AI applications. It's not a simple matter of typing out a sentence of "give me this." Eventually, you have to sort of. It's almost like you're developing scripts or a type of coding to get what you want. It's like its own form of code, or its own form of coding. It's just I'm fascinated by the process and definitely want to keep learning more.
And like that was like all intentional. With like the basement was intentional. He's in his mom's basement. There's boxes all over the place. He's got the Communist Manifesto on the table. All of that was like intended in the actual clip. None of that was like just random, right? And then as for the actual thing that happens in it, he's typing away, and I specifically told it to say, "Someone should kill him, not me, happy face." So like all of that was actually like directed and intended. So he adds like the little happy face at the end because like they're too pussy to do anything. Like they're gonna try to like convince
That's an
other
old
people
school
to
happy
do something
face
to harm
too.
people, but like they won't do it themselves because they don't want to get in trouble. Obviously, that's what it is to them. It's like that's how their morality functions. They function on like a kind of punitive morality. They don't have any real true morality. This cut I'm not super proud of. Like it was just kind of whatever, honestly. And the idea behind this, it was just like a video game character.
Well, I mean, look at them. Whatever. They're just a sort of whatever sort of individual. It's like, the fuck are we even looking at here? She, they, are we sure about that?
And there was a joke about Asmin talking about how they're world buffed all the time. So you have like all the world buffs up here, like all the flags. And then you can see them like buffing
world
themselves
buff.
up.
As always, chat, never take anyone too seriously that has pronouns in their screen name or their bio. Which color is the she and which is the they? That's a really good question, sure. That is a really good question.
So here I wanted Asmin, so it's like, the lyrics here is once the maggots like swallow up my soul. The maggots were basically like, and the reason why the maggot is so cute is because the maggot sort of represents, they would call us that, like they would call everybody in like Asmin's community like a bunch of maggots, and like everyone on the rider like a bunch of maggots. Like this is like basically how they see us. But it's like
He's just a
Asmin
little
sees them
guy.
as like, they're like his people in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're still like,
They're his people, and they're also my people as well. We welcome the based maggots around here, but you're not actually maggots, literally or metaphorically. Instead, I prefer to refer to you as what you really are, as based, as salt of the earth, and even salt and light. You are the forces of the godly versus the denizens of the ungodly.
they're still roaches, right? They're still Asmin's fans. So like, he doesn't hate them, right? And that's kind of like what it's about.
And the bar has never really been lower in that regard of just don't hate these people. And he doesn't. He actually respects them. And they respect him in turn. No, most of them do anyway.
Now this one is just, so a lot of people are trying to say that I was trying to make like a Jesus thing. I wasn't really. It's
that's kind of what you got. You got roach Jesus here.
They want me to rot on a cross of roach and slime, right? And so it has like all of the roaches going to him. And like, to be honest, the reason why it's in a valley, right, is because in the actual story of the Bible, Jesus dies on a hill. So for this, I put it in a valley. That way it's like kind of a little bit separated from it. And
nay, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. I think I get the reference.
then I wanted it to rotate like slightly around and then have lightning in the background. Those were like the elements that were. In this one, I took a literal picture of his room and I added that as a part of an element for the video. So
Okay.
that's why it actually looks like his room, is because it's literally based on his room.
That is
I had
literally his screen cap of
taken
his
a
room.
picture of Asmund, like a screenshot from like his stream, and then I took that screenshot from the stream, and I had it.
It's easy to do if you've got a high enough resolution video of it. I think he streams in 1080p. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, as long as you have that going full screen, and then using something as simple as the snipping tool on Windows, you can do that. And you can do it with either one of his live streams, or you can do it with a VOD or a clip. These are the little tricks that you learn when building something like a YouTube thumbnail. Just bear that in mind, chat.
Remove him specifically from the picture, so now I have the establishment of like his background, like his backdrop, and then I re-added him in with this. That's how that happened. And this was just like the joke about he says it in the video. So
Yes.
the entire like all the lyrics and the entire song is based on one specific video that Asmund made about people want him killed. People wanted him killed. And in that video, he says that he has the Infinity Gauntlet, right? Of all of the crazy people that are, and that's kind of what this is about.
He's not wrong.
And then now here was the first time I did a sort of rogues gallery, and it's kind of a light one. And the truth is, so you've got like the communist, the Karen. Now here's like a little funny thing here.
Oh my god, she's got little goblin horns coming out of her problematic glasses. And the leopard skin top here, very reminiscent of that one character in Yakuza. I think she starts appearing in Yakuza 0. The old granny with the purple hair, and like, you know, the leopard and leopard skin jacket that she wears, and there's all these bright, obnoxious colors, and she acts rather obnoxious. Always roping in either Kiryu or Majima into some sort of side quest just because she can't stay out of trouble, and she also just can't stop being so bloody insufferable. But good earner at the Hostess Club whenever you recruit her. So she's got that going for her. That's her one redeemable quality, is that she's a good earner. But yeah, that's what this reminds me of.
She has like a Western background. It's a little weird, right? The reason why
That
it has a Western
is.
background is because I put the word Western in the prompt, and I just didn't feel like changing it. I was like, it's going to be on screen for like 1 second, like not even 1 second, like 0.2 seconds. Like, who really gives a shit? So like,
The stereotypical Karen pays a visit to Tombstone, Arizona. Somehow it works. Somehow it works, and it almost seems like a comedy bit unto itself. If she wanted to explore it further as like a spin-off bit of comedy, she could totally do that.
I didn't really change it. I could have, I just didn't really care, right? And then you have, you know, and the reason why it's doing this is because of the song. It's like I said before, like I didn't even like this scene. Like originally, I was kind of gonna go back and fix it. I was gonna make it the Saint Seiya
It's
like
all
peel.
right.
I saw a message on X where a person said, when you work on stuff, don't go back and like redo scenes that you did before, because that way you can kind of see your progression, like working on something. And I was like, that's like pretty good advice.
Well, and it's also quite practical advice too, because if you keep going back and making tweaks and changes like that, you're never going to get it done. This reminds me of something that the film director Richard Donner once said, and he was talking specifically about the first two Superman movies that he was working on, talking about the Superman movies in the late 1970s with Christopher Reeve as Superman. Which, if you have not seen that, those of you who claim to be fans of superhero movies, yeah, I would say that you're not a true fan unless you've seen the OG, the ones that really started it all. So go back and watch Superman 1 and Superman 2, Richard Donner cut. Yes, best Superman, exactly. Christopher Reeve was one of those people that was absolutely born to play the role of Superman. It's a pity, though, terrible riding accident that happened to him that left him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. But yeah, and certainly what he advocated for in terms of medical science advancing in his later years. I mean, obviously he's doing that with the interest of he wanted to walk again, but he also wanted to make sure that other people that were going through spinal injuries like he went through didn't have to suffer the way he did. But getting back to the original point, Richard Donner, he was interviewed at one point. I think it was for a making of documentary of the Superman films. And he himself had that problem where he would be in the editor's room with people like Stuart Baird, Michael Tao, and he just kept tweaking and making cuts and splicing in this and taking out that. And even he admitted it was one of his worst habits. And so they were getting down to the 11th hour where they had to get the final cut out in order to make their release date. And he said, so I'm paraphrasing obviously, but he said at some point, you just have to stop and just leave it as it is. You just have to stop where you're at and just try to be satisfied that that is good enough. Because otherwise, you will just keep making edit after edit after edit after edit, and it will never end, and you will never release the final film. At some point, you just have to let go and put it out there into the world. And it's the same thing with a lot of content creation, too. Some people obsess over editing, over getting just the right take of something, over getting the correct cut put in the correct place, and everything's just got to be perfect. And as anyone will tell you, perfect is the enemy of good. You have to just at some point let go and acknowledge that it's going to be flawed. It's not going to be perfect what you put out. And you're just going to have to put it out there and be satisfied with it. Or try to make your peace with that somehow. Do the things I say always land? No. Do the jokes I make always make people laugh? No. Does the content I put out always have the planned impact? No. Sometimes there are things that I think are just never really going to take off, or nobody will pay attention to it, and all of a sudden it blows up. You know, I get lucky with the algorithm or whatever. Every time, what really has helped me is place certain things in the hands of trusted team members. Like editing, I leave that to Action. Action Bastard is my editor as well as one of my members of the mod team. And I just leave things in his hands because I know that he does not want nor deserve me constantly looking over his shoulder and trying to micromanage him. That's also not my style. I just leave everything in his hands, trust his judgment, and I just tell him, just make it good, man. Do your best and make it good. And I leave it there. Because if I were to try and edit all of this myself, which I have done before, I will be at this for days on end. Nothing will ever get done. Content will not be uploaded. It's just would just be this hellish situation where it's like I want to do more, but I can't because I'm just one person. It already takes me long enough uploading content to both YouTube and Rumble, and also creating YouTube thumbnails, which if I could outsource to someone else the creation of YouTube thumbnails, possibly even hand over some type of editor control to the YouTube channel and just have other people handle it, that would be paradise for me. I don't want to have everything in my hands because I know I can't do it all myself. Bro, a book I read back in high school, the author was writing a trilogy, and it's been like 13, 14 years, he still hasn't published the third book and expressed that he regrets publishing the first two as is. Is that George R.R. Martin that you're reading? Because my God, he will drag things out forever, and we'll never get closure on anything. But yeah, at some point, Patrick Rothfuss, okay, I've never heard of them, but yeah, they do sound like they are a bit of a perfectionist. 13, 14 years is a long time to wait for the third book in a trilogy, and saying he regrets publishing the first two as is, I mean, he can always go back and write second, third, fourth editions if he wanted to. Plenty of people do that with their books. But yeah, at some point you just have to let go and try not to beat yourself up over little things, which a lot of them is just the little things in the grand scheme of things. Too many of us are our own worst critics, where we will find fault in the littlest of things, thinking other people notice these little things, when the reality is most people don't notice because they don't really care that much. They really don't, because they've got their own problems. They've got their own things to deal with. Most people don't have the time to run over your work with a fine-tooth comb to try and nitpick and point out every little mistake that you've made. As Southern ASMR says, you'd be surprised by the number of people that don't notice you. Yes, exactly. I know that I'm in a rather niche field. I'm well aware that I could probably have a bigger audience if I were a flesh streamer, but I don't feel like shaving every day that I do streams. Especially on the weekends, I just want to relax in my comfy clothes, my pajamas, and just play video games and yap about politics and cars and travel and life stuff with people. I treat this as though I've got my own home studio and I'm doing my own radio show, which tracks because, I spent 10 years in radio. I'm actually over 10 years. The fleshing of Lord Rexworth. I always stream on my PJ. Yeah, it is. Honestly, this medium of VTubing is really just an upgraded version of radio broadcasting, except I don't have to monitor frequency phases for the transmitter tower. Everything goes out on the internet. And we have the added elements of animated avatars, and we get to work with video. So it's almost like a radio person's approach to television broadcasting, which a lot of this really is kind of a small-scale version of television. But the natural progression of it all. Rex's pajamas are just another suit. I've got the what was it called? That was actually a thing. We joke, but that was actually a thing. I think it was the suitsy. I think it was called the suitsy, and I kid you not, it was a onesie that looked like a business suit. And I mean, it looked like a really convincing business suit as well. A bit of a looser build, not as sharp as say an Italian or British tailored suit. Very much American hipster type tailoring look to it. But that was a real thing. A suitsy. It was a onesie that you just hop into. Tie was completely optional, but it looked like you were wearing a suit. Hopefully made of silk at least. I don't think it was. I think it was mostly polyester and artificial fabrics. And I don't think they make it anymore either. It was incredibly expensive. I think they were getting a bit too greedy, trying to make too much of their money back all at once, because it cost as much as an off-the-rack suit at the time. I think they wanted about $400 or $500 for the suitsy, which I mean, a bit revolutionary, yes, but also, end of the day, it was still a pajama onesie. It was sort of a pajama onesie trying to pretend to be more than it actually was. But I think some people went for it. I don't know. I know they don't make it anymore, which is kind of a pity, because if I had saved up a little more money, I probably would have bought one of those. Just because that seems really damn convenient. A suit onesie, it would have been perfect. Who knows? Maybe we can make it happen again and do that as like a merch drop of, do you want to look like his lordship, dressed to the nines? Well, get yourself a, but you don't want to bother with tight constrictive suits. Well, get yourself the Lord Rexworth branded suitsy. Available now at lordrexworth.store. No, it's not actually available. Could potentially sell like hotcakes, just mad enough to work? I don't know. You make the call, chat.
So I just left it. Even though I wasn't like super happy with it, I kind of left it just to, be a reminder of like an older cut, right? You can see it's very basic. Like I literally just took the same video, moved it to the left, then just put all these on. It's not even like aligned properly or anything. You have okay, so here's what these are, okay? So you've got the commie, you've got the Karen, you've got the Antifa, you've got the fentanyl zombie. So this is actually not a
anarchist.
homeless person. I guess technically it's also a homeless person, but it was supposed to be fentanyl zombie. Like that was the actual thing. And then
it
you've
looks the
got
part.
the Somali with the Leering Center in the background. You've got the super woke gender activist, and then you've got the furries. And obviously I don't mean all furries. It's just I'm gonna be real, guys. Like I don't even hate furries.
Yeah, not all, but too many. Probably most. Almost all of them. I don't know. I'll never understand it myself. And a lot of these furries, you get them talking long enough, it's like, oh, no wonder you've got some strange sexual peccadillos. You kind of fucked up in the head there, lad. Kind of fucked up in the head. Though also you've got furries that are just absolutely fucking loaded, because these costumes do not come cheap. So, interesting, diverse swath of the population.
It's just you guys are just free. It's just free. A lot of furries
They let their freak.
a lot of furries are kind of crazy, to be honest. Not all
Yes.
of them. Obviously, there are furries that are not crazy.
It takes a certain level of madness to think, yeah, you know what's fun? Putting on some really hot literal fur coat type cosplay and giant headpiece and, walking around and pretending that I'm some sort of animal and doing that in the middle of summer with the more advanced models being kitted out with internal fans and cooling systems. Ultimately, it's your money. You spend it on whatever you want. But man, I don't know. I will never understand it myself. Not really going to pretend to understand it, but you know what? You do you, boo.
Crazy. But there's a lot of furries that are crazy, and they're also free. So it's kind of easy target. Yeah, exactly.
They let their freak flag fly, and they give zero fucks.
Easy target, and a lot of them are kind of crazy. So, and then this guy is the lives in his mom's house warrior right here.
Oh yeah, the fedora, the new version of the fedora tipping atheist thinks he's so fucking edgy with his fedora and his trench coat and his probably cheap Chinese-made katana sword that hasn't ever been sharpened and couldn't cut worth shit, and t-shirt's probably a few days old, hasn't been washed, and oh yeah, he's got the acne, indicating a possibly very poor diet. The one good thing about living in a tropical country, I've never seen a furry here. Yeah, and you probably never will. They're mostly confined to the United States and certain Western countries. I don't know. It might be a possible sign of societal insanity going on. So count yourself lucky that that you don't see things like that, because you're probably living in one of the few sane parts of the world.
He's like the social justice white knight that lives in his mom's house. Yeah, milady. Exactly, milady.
Oh, Jesus.
And this is this is the whole situation with the tiger on the front page and stuff. And this one I wanted to have just
Is
him.
it any wonder why there's an exodus of people from Twitch over to Kick and moving back over to YouTube and even moving over to Rumble? I know things like this. I saw that. I'm just like, no more of this. It is a clear sign that, this is what happens when you eliminate about 80 to 90% of your workforce. Nobody is at the controls to make sure that shit like this doesn't get promoted on the front page. But also, their response to it all is so nonchalant, like they don't care, and they probably don't care. So it's like, you'll let that be on your front page, but Tectone calls Frogan fat and he gets a ban. Or Amalgamite, accidentally lets the wrong slur fly from a piece of music that she's playing and she gets permabanned. Was never on Twitch to begin with. I mean, at this point, you're not really missing much. So many of my own favorite streamers, they multi-stream to other platforms, so I just watch them on that.
I wanted the same thing, but I just had him turn, so I thought it looked cooler. I actually did that on purpose, the turn from straight on to to the side profile, and the scream woman,
No!
And this one I was kind of messing around with camera stuff. So I was learning how to do fun camera stuff, and that's really all this is. This wasn't really like there's nothing deep behind this cut. It's all like just a desire to like kind of do camera, like do crazy camera transitions. So I was
It happened fast enough that you don't really notice, to where it really does look like we just zoomed out from the city to the Earth in outer space. And sometimes, you know, with the right speed to everything, it all just looks so seamless.
just kind of experimenting, like doing crazy stuff. So here I wanted like it to like go up. So this part was intended, but it just doesn't have like a deep meaning behind it. It's just New York, and then it pops out of the world, and then I want it to kind of go towards Texas, and then like goes to his house. And it's just like kind of a
reminder that it's no secret Asmongold resides in Austin, Texas. The AI did a good job modeling his room, I noticed. This is good.
it's really just a
Didn't know Asmon was Texan too. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's lived in Austin, I think, for most of his life. I know for a while, at least, Tectone might still be living in Austin as well, but I think he relocated for security reasons. Don't know about anybody else from OTK like Imiru. I have no idea where she's at, and with good reason. She probably doesn't want anyone to know either. Best country in America. Yeah, that's the state chamber of commerce, or the tourism board with Texas. I believe they still have that as their slogan. Texas, it's like a whole other country, which, if you know anything about the history of the state of Texas, at one point it was its own country.
exercise in like creative transitions. That's all it is, really. It wasn't really, there's nothing deep behind it. So here, like, this was about like he was like clicking in the video, the original video, where about people that want him to die. He was like clicking some pliers, and someone in chat asked like, "What is that sound?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just clicking pliers. I do that sometimes." And I remember thinking like, "Man, that's just like that's kind of like me, like with my fidget stuff, you know." And so like
it's kind of an autism thing. It's an autistic thing, and it's also an ADHD thing where you tend to need to have something in your hand to play with, or something like that. Yeah, idle hands are the devil's playground. Yeah.
added it in there. And in the video, he's wearing the Misfits t-shirt, so I just wanted it to be more of a nod to like the specific video.
I mean, he is a bit of a misfit when you think about it. So many people, the remnants of OTK, are misfits in the classical definition. So many of us as VTubers, we're misfits, all of us. And yet, here we are, in our own small circles, in our own little corners of the globe, doing things that 10, 20 years ago would have been absolutely, even just a few years ago, would have been absolutely impossible. I mean, the idea that one sweet, lovely woman like Leaflit, creating, using artificial intelligence, an entire animated music video. Craig from Side Scrollers was quite right. She would have been working on something like that 30 years. It would have ceased being relevant long after she had finished working with a team of animators, and it would have cost her a fortune. And now she's got tools for, I don't even want to imagine how much she spends per month on all of this, with all the credits and the monthly subscriptions and everything, but it's still a damn sight cheaper than going out and hiring a team of animators, or even a small crew of animators, like a handful of people, to animate something like this. And even in just the past few years, how many VTubers do we know that wanted to do things like animated introduction videos, or, you know, animated videos at the beginning of their streams? And they'd go out and hire these animators, and then they get screwed over. They just take the money and run away. And now, instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars, Leaflit here was able to get all of this done at a fraction of the cost, and certainly in a fraction of the time. The world has truly changed in just the past 2 years, 2-3 years, to where now all of this is possible. even 20 years ago, roughly around the time that I got my start in radio, the idea of podcasting was in its infancy. And the notion that you could have some sort of global reach with a podcast was still unthinkable. Podcasting was for people who couldn't quite hack it in either local or network radio broadcasting, or even television or cable broadcasting. And then slowly people started discovering these podcasts are really good. And at least some of the people who make them are quite good at what they do. And they're able to do it with a lot less equipment and in a fraction of the time and at a fraction of the cost of trying to go out and get your own block of time for the radio show or block of time on, say, a community access television channel. And then later, with more people having access to high-speed internet, the concept of live streaming, what you are watching right now, became viable. Platforms came online, and people started building audiences. And really what you're seeing is just a logical extension of people having their own television shows, radio shows, chat shows, their own podcasts, just done live over several hours for an audience that is, I mean, you've got a worldwide reach. This is the sort of thing that back in the day, I dreamed of having my own radio show. I dreamed of eventually moving over to television, of doing something with the news. I never had much of an interest in doing things like music radio. To me, that felt like something that was just going the way of the dodo bird. My original attitude was, okay, I've got all of these cassette tapes, mixtapes of things that I like to listen to, or I've got a whole caddy full of CDs. I mean, if I want to listen to something, I'll just pop it in the CD player, or for a very brief period when I had it in one of my first cars, a cassette player, I just pop a mixtape into the cassette player. And then later on, MP3 players, iPods, those became a thing. It was like, okay, well, I'll just load up all my favorite tracks on my MP3 player, on my iPod. If I want to listen to something, I'll just go out and get the music and load it up and then play it, either on the home stereo or in my car. And now we've got applications like Spotify. And before that, we had Pandora. And especially, I said this when Pandora first came out. I said to my colleagues in radio, I asked them, do you realize what this means? They're like, no, what are you talking about? It's like, all the music DJs are in trouble now because they're not needed. It used to be you would trust in the DJs to curate a playlist on the radio for you. And then the corporate suits took that over because they didn't trust anyone locally. They claimed it was about payola. We know that was bullshit. They just wanted control to, justify that existence. And so they made everything sound the same. And in that sense, they killed radio. But I said to them, these apps like Pandora and this other thing that's coming out called Spotify, you don't need music DJs anymore. You can be the DJ now because you just select what you want and it plays it for you. Or you give it an idea of what you're looking for and it'll pull from those genres and play something for you. Some of them thought it was crazy, but other people are just like, oh shit, you're right. It's the same thing with news and talk radio and even news channels on standard linear television networks. They're not needed anymore. Everything's moving to on-demand. People watch when they want to. There's no such thing as appointment viewing anymore. People don't even really bother to use things like DVRs or TiVos anymore either, because they're not needed. And also the media conglomerates would rather you not have those, because they're too scared you're going to use what's on the hard drive of your DVR to pirate and put up on pirate websites. And the fears are not entirely unwarranted. But now, with things like X, and with podcasting, and with live streaming, 24-hour news networks are no longer needed. News and talk radio stations are not needed, nor are they desired, because too often they are censored normie slop, beholden to their advertisers, or beholden to government funding, depending on what country you're in. A lot of podcasters don't really have that problem. And for many live streamers, that's also not an issue for them. They can finally speak their minds, for the most part anyway. I stopped watching TV, so have I. I haven't turned on a television to watch anything in years, not on any sort of traditional network. It's usually on in the living room, just because that's what my parents are used to watching. They don't really understand and don't really want to understand a lot of the concepts of on-demand viewing, and they're not interested in internet television channels, which are basically same function as a regular television channel. or a cable channel, a satellite channel. It's what they're used to. The only people that are still watching TV are the boomers. And you can tell that is so with the way advertising reflects the audience. Bro, I'm experiencing tangent. Yeah, I am definitely tangenting here. But, why is it that you've got so many adverts for pills and medical procedures, and if you're in America, so many things for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, supplementary insurance for that, life insurance. This is all stuff designed to appeal to an older audience from the baby boomer generation. If you want more relevant adverts, which I don't know what is truly relevant to younger people in terms of advertising beyond the little snippets that I see here and there for, well, I mean, so much of it is now tailored towards the individual that it's different for everyone. And so if I want to see what appeals to younger generations in terms of advertising, go on websites go on the Instagram app. Occasionally you'll see something. Or, I don't know, does TikTok do adverts? I think they do. Gives you a sort of idea. But most of the time, the adverts that I see are baked into content creators. It's sponsored portions of their content, stuff that they're plugging, which sometimes it's good products, sometimes it's shit. It really just depends. Which, by the way, chat, if you're looking for a product that is absolutely not shit and is actually really good, go to thedragonstreasure.com/Lord Rexworth. Get your teas, your coffees, your soaps, all that good stuff. And those of you who are over on Twitch, make sure that you try NordVPN risk-free for 30 days by clicking that link in the chat. And if you would like to have access to multiple currency accounts for international banking purposes, open your Wise account now. Again, link in the chat over on Twitch.
Okay, so here he's making the jail, and for people that were telling me
Defund the BBC.
You made the song called "Put Him in the Box," but there is no boxes. The box is the jail.
Yeah.
The asylum is the box. So
Yes.
for everyone that's like, "There's no boxes in the thing," no, the asylum is
The box is a metaphor. He's talking about a prison or an asylum, or perhaps taken to a more extreme position, a coffin.
literally the box. So this is Rev throwing it into the fires of Mount Doom. So it's the key. Throw the keys away. And it is kind of a weird animation, but I just kind of liked how it turned out, so I just kept it. And it kind of just comically plops in.
Doesn't look like a traditional key.
And with the "I love my wife" shirt, because I always laugh at Rev always saying "I love my wife."
Yeah, Rev says "I love my wife."
Love it. I love that he says that all the time. It's actually super cute.
She's explaining to Tards here, not gonna lie. Yeah, some people it goes over their head. Love Rev, yeah. Rev's a good lad. And Straub's a good woman. If anyone embodies VTuber relationship goals, it's those two.
And I just wanted to have that on there. And here, Asmon said, is it Satan? No, it's this is Magellan. It's Magellan from Impel Down. And for those of you that don't know about this is a One Piece reference. Impel Down is like the Giga maximum security giant prison that they put pirates in.
I have yet to see even a single episode of One Piece, and honestly, it's been running for so long now. It's like, where do you even start, or do you even bother at this point? I haven't. I still need to get through the latest season of Spy Family, and I do need to watch the premiere of the new season of Freerun.
And Magellan is he's like a warden, and his ability, poison, is that he's so toxic that that's how he deals with people. So you have to have Magellan in there to deal with their toxicity. So that's the whole thing.
Only he is strong enough, but he is the One Piece.
Here you've got Andrew Wilson and Smoky Man Dad, and he's got the olive jar because there's a joke about Andrew Wilson because he couldn't open an olive jar when there was a challenge where he had to open an olive jar, and it's just like a machismo like masculine challenge, and he wasn't able to open it And
Oh no, he couldn't open a jar of olives. However will we go on? It's big fucking deal. Whatever. It's worth it. I quit after Thriller Bark. Alright. I may try it. I don't know.
and people made fun of him for that, and that's why there's the olive jar there. And then he laughs because I love his laugh. It's like really funny. Like every time he gets into a debate and his opponent is just total
Not
dog
the
shit, he
olive.
just starts laughing, and it's like the best laugh ever.
I mean, that's really all you can do with these denizens of the ungodly. They, in the end, all you can do is just. Some people laugh at them more than anything. I just pity them. I don't really so much laugh at them. I just pity them. Just maybe it's from a perspective of, you have so much more potential. You could be so much more. If only you could overcome these limiting beliefs, these limiting positions that you put yourself in, you could be so much more. And this is what you're reduced to. To me, they all just lost. Yeah, no, it's so many of them. The cultural tides or the cultural winds, I find myself using this terminology quite a bit because it's so fitting, but the culture is against them now. Whack. The culture is against them now. And I don't know if it's going to turn back their way in their lifetimes. I pray it doesn't. We've been through enough having to suffer under their collective tyranny and their insufferability. Purely having some fun with the quack redeem there. I take it you've racked up the points, haven't you, Purely? But we've been through enough with them. We've put up with their bullshit long enough. And now the cultural winds have shifted to where people like us on the right, the wind is now at our backs. And we're now sort of driving the culture. We were once a fairly reactionary type force, constantly on the back foot, constantly on the defensive, because for so long, the right gave up the culture, ceded that ground. And now, we're the punk rock types. We're the new counterculture. We are discovering that we've got that cultural cachet and have had it all along. We just kind of needed to get a bit more clever about it. And we've made progress in areas of new and frontier media. There's so many on the left, they're now the reactionaries. They're now the ones that refuse to even consider that sort of thing. They're the ones that want to appeal to authority and to institutions and still want them to have all the power, but nobody's listening to them anymore. Nobody respects what they have to say. Their credibility is just gone. They pissed it all away during the pandemic and even before that, and I really don't think it's coming back. I think the pendulum is now swinging really far to the right, and in some ways hard to the right, in response to the absolute madness that we have seen from the left over the past 10 or so years, or even longer. And I don't know if they are ever going to get their cultural cachet back, because it seems like in many ways they have inadvertently ceded that ground back over to us, and to people like us. I have quite a bit of points, so well, feel free to use them. We've got lots of sound redeems, then there's other live redeems that are available for a certain number of points. So, how about it?
And then so Nux here, it's Nux
The
water
Blue
D
Jew.
law. It's actually, people are saying it's a Rasengan. It's actually Room. It's actually like him using Room. And it's because the lyrics say it's the surgeon of your pain. So it's like surgeon, right? Like law, and Nux likes One Piece, so. And here we've got Blabs and Straub.
I knew it. I knew that had to have been Blabs because I recognized the blue dress. She's worn that in some of her social media posts. Pretty dress too, by the way. Need kick points so I can quack at you too. Yeah, I do need to build out some more redeems on kick. I think Blurp works with kick now. I'm not 100% sure. I will experiment on that. I know I should because I want to get away as much as I can from being so heavily dependent upon Twitch streaming and even YouTube to a certain extent. Honestly, I mean, I don't mind continuing to stream on Twitch and eventually come back to YouTube. But my content and my audience, I really want to focus on Kick and Rumble, just because I would feel most comfortable to fully be myself and fully speak my mind on those platforms and not have to worry about some shit lib on the Twitch moderation team or the AI or the Indians who make up YouTube's moderation teams all of a sudden deciding, no, the Englishman's done here, and then nuking my channel. I have a stupid number of points on Leaf's channel. I don't know how much I've got on Leaf's channel. Or Kirsch's. I at one point made it a goal to rack up millions of points on Kirsch's channel for one of the top tier redeems, but yeah, I don't know about that. I don't watch. I don't really watch a lot of streamers anymore on Twitch, just because, especially on the app is really clunky on a smartphone and really dodgy and just doesn't work all that well. Honestly, the Kick app works even better than Twitch, and so often if I watch Leaflit while I'm on the road, I'll do it on the Kick app, and Kirsch I'll watch her on YouTube just because I've got a premium subscription and I tend to line up her stream with a playlist of other things. Oh, thank you for the hydrating stretch, Pionly. There's a stretch and sippy time. All right, on we go.
And punches, like slaps her in the face. The freaking nose ring comes off. By the way, the nose ring coming off was not on purpose. That part was not on purpose. That part just happened.
Happy accident.
And I was like, it's perfect.
Happy accident.
It like happened, and I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
One funny thing about
Slap
this scene
the nose
here,
ring right
and
off her.
you'll only notice it if you really pay attention. It's actually in reverse. The reason why is because he originally started like this, and then he put his hand down and he smiled. That was the original. And you can tell that it's in backwards because if you look at it going forwards, the confetti flies up into the air instead of down. So look in the back at the confetti, you'll see it goes up into the air. And the reason they did that is because I like the reverse order more, right? So like I thought it looked cooler for him to smile first and then raise the gauntlet in the air and then get serious. I kind of wanted that more.
These are editing tricks that I've seen in films going all the way back to the 1960s. This is a sort of editing trick that they did to extend out a scene in the James Bond film From Russia with Love and sort of rework that particular scene to what you saw in the final form. It was different in the script. Final version was a lot different, but there was at least one part, one little snippet where the actress playing Rosa Klebb, they had it to where she was moving away from Blofeld's desk towards the fish tank to watch the Siamese fighting fish going at it. And then they reversed that film to have her moving away and sitting back down. And it was all rather seamless. You really couldn't tell that they had just done that little trick. It was one of those scenes they had to save in the edit. And they did. Same sort of magic trick being applied here.
Rather than serious to that. And I was like, I really like this cut, but I just don't like the order it's in. So all I did was reverse the speed, put it at negative 100 speed, which would reverse the entire clip. And that's why the confetti goes up instead of down.
It's better going slower.
And this is Skybrows.
It was almost like how they would film a lot of the monster fight scenes in Godzilla films. So much of that was filmed at high speed, so lights were a lot brighter. Actors in the suits had to move a lot faster, like schizophrenic levels of fast. And then when they played it back at normal speed, everything looked slower, but it had that slower movement gave it a sense of mass, gave all the monsters a sense of mass.
And this one was really hard. I had to like try to copy his style. It would have been really hard to do. And you can tell like the main reference to it being Skybrows is the Shadow Asylum. So he's the Shadow Band in like his videos. And
interesting. That's also what Skybrows looks like, eh? A strapping young lad. Lucky Duck too. He's got these two sexy cat girls with him. Of course, he loves putting cat girls in everything. Cat girls and, the occasional cameo by sexy Foxu girls like Kirsche, especially in Home Stallone, which, again, it was a real one for giving us all that Kirsche fan service and all those upskirt shots. That was the best Christmas present ever, getting to constantly stare at Kirsche's panties.
Originally, I had it just him playing the guitar, and it didn't have the cat girls in the original version. And you know, I wanted
We
it
want
to
cat
be like
girls.
a Skybrows thing, so I was like trying to copy his style, which is why the camera wilds out like this, because it's like just very Skybrows like editing and
Yes.
very Skybrows animation style. And it was really, really hard to copy this. Luckily, Skybrows had a bunch of prompts that he put up, and I was able to use those as like a
Oh,
reference,
bless him.
which was really, really, I'm really grateful for that. I've never thought I would use disorienting camera as a camera style. But this is disorienting camera style. I didn't really know about that. Anyway, so
So that's the name, disorienting camera. Chat, I hope you're taking notes in all of this.
actually had just him playing the guitar, and I was like, it's kind of hard to tell it's Skybrows. And the reason why is because I only had his profile picture to go off of. That's all I had really for him and his style, right? So I was like, what would be more Skybrow? What would be more Skybrows is to add 2 cat girls flanking him. So that's why
Yes.
I added the cat girls like at the end.
We love our cat girls. We are based cat girl enjoyers here. I love it that the guitar has
This is
5
another
strings,
cut
not
I wasn't
6.
super
Yeah,
happy
one of them
with. It
broke
just looks
off.
kind of silly, but it's Blue Sky just being a cesspool. That's all it is, and I just had like, you know,
Yeah.
the usual suspects. Another like kind of play with transitions. On this one, just, you know, you can't really tell normally, but if you look at her shirt, it's a peace sign. You barely
Yeah.
can see it, but it's
Yeah,
her
we can
shirt is
tell.
intentionally a peace sign. So she's got the peace sign shirt, but she's got
Peace
the
sign
sign
shirt,
of they
the
should be
sign
killed.
they
so
should be
it's
killed,
just
yeah.
kind of irony.
I would say that, well, she might be a hipster, we don't know, but hipsters tend to go in for that sort of thing.
And you've got Dan Clancy here. He loves the ladies, you know. So
Yeah,
I've got him there.
He
And
he loves his hot tub streamers and probably is trying to shag as many of them as possible whenever they come to TwitchCon. But, you know, any reveal of VTuber anime girl thigh, and it's like, stop the presses and instant permaban. And then he wonders why people aren't, or maybe he doesn't wonder, maybe he just doesn't give a shit at this point. But it's like, is it any wonder then why people are moving away from exclusively streaming on Twitch to other platforms?
again, the reason he has a cowboy hat is because of the Gucci Marks video. I wanted to do the little kick dance that he does in the Gucci Marks video because I thought it was like so silly. I loved it so much. But I ended up just keeping it because I thought it was good enough. And then you've got the TwitchCon 2030 in the top right corner.
Are we
And Tectone
even...
getting swatted.
Oh, that's right, he did get spotted, didn't he? Yeah, are we even sure Twitch is going to be around in 2030? I mean, we've got like 4 years before the end of the decade. I don't think there's any guarantee that Twitch will survive. I really don't know. It'd be funny if the next TwitchCon is like a ghost town. Yeah, and for all we know, it might be. You know, just the usual suspects, the usual shitlib streamers that they practically have to beg and plead to go to TwitchCon or even pay them.
Then you got the Rogues Gallery. And I talked about this before, but I specifically made the reasoning behind making all of the bad, you know, not the bad,
Trying to, Destiny. Most of these people, I mean, it's a combination of streamer brain chat, but it's like some of these people, I don't know who the fuck they are, and I have no interest in ever following them or watching their streams or taking any of their content in. You know, I couldn't give a flying fuck what Destiny says or thinks. Only thing I know about him is that his own son has rejected his ideology and has kind of gone like full hard right, like almost neo-Nazi 1488 type hard right. I find that terribly ironic. And it's like, damn, if we're gonna have daddy issues, let's have some fucking daddy issues, am I right?
The bad guys for sure. The reason I made them the bad guys look cool, is because I don't think we should underestimate them. First off, I
No.
wanted everyone to look cool because you know,
Never underestimate your enemies, because they might actually pull a fast one, and they could land a critical hit of some kind. What's better, daddy issues or mummy issues? Ideally, none of the above. With women, I would rather them have mummy issues than daddy issues, because with mummy issues, they tend to go a bit more trad. They tend to lean more towards the right, and they tend to be a bit more perceptive to the idea of wives, be submissive to your husbands and let them be the head of family and let the men be in charge and, you know, listen to them, obey them, respect them. Women with daddy issues, they end up being the ugly, fat, blue-haired feminist types that, you know, get into lesbian relationships and try to drive their Honda Pilots into ICE agents and then ultimately get themselves shot. And then men with daddy issues, like men who grow up without fathers, yeah, they don't turn out so well either. They end up being fucked up. So I'd say, yeah, mummy issues. Though with men, sometimes overbearing mothers, that can sometimes play a role in them turning away from heterosexuality towards homosexuality. Not all of them, but with so many, there is a profile of homosexuals having a history of sexual abuse or overbearing mothers or some combination thereof. Makes sense, yeah. Yeah, better to have mummy issues than daddy issues. We need strong fathers. Everyone needs strong fathers in their lives, and if you don't have a strong father in your life, or a father, period, you're not going to have a good time. I do know 2 homo twins who were sexually assaulted in their youth, yes. Yeah, it's not really talked about with homosexuality. It's not really something that people like to admit, but it is definitely a pattern that I have noticed with gay men. You get them talking long enough, maybe even get a couple of drinks into them to loosen them up a bit, and yeah, eventually they do reveal something like, I had an overbearing mother growing up, and she's still overbearing to this day. Or I was sexually abused when I was a child, and it's fucked me up in the head ever since. These are things that people don't really like to talk about, even the victims themselves. And there's still, societally speaking, at least in Western society, there's still a lot of discomfort behind all of that. There's still a lot of people that don't want to bring themselves to publicly admit that was the trigger point. You know, that was the catalyst that set them down the pathway that they were on. You know, a lot of people, they still can't bring themselves to have that conversation, but it needs to happen. And I think that a lot of people on the left and in the LGBT community don't want to have that conversation because it eliminates a certain air of mystery and unpredictability about them, to the point where I think a lot of them are genuinely frightened that if we had that conversation about how do people most of the time end up becoming gay, that it will lead to an erosion or a rolling back of gay rights. Though to hear some people in the gay community talking, even some of them will quietly admit it's like, yeah, gay rights were kind of a mistake. We need to go back. It would be better if more people were in the closet rather than coming out of the closet. Is like, you know, some people it's all right, but then it's like, no, you over there, no, you stay in the closet. You stay there. We don't need you coming out of the closet. You're not doing anyone any favors, least of all yourself. So back in the closet, please. Thank you.
No, when everything looks cool, it just looks better, right? And I think that there is a place for villains that are just like funny and disgusting, but I wanted there to be more of an effect. I wanted to show that while we, like, you know, we don't agree with them and we think a lot of the things that they say are like awful, obviously, right? They also think that what we say is awful. So like to them, like we're the villains, right? And it's kind of like I wanted
No one is a villain in their own eyes. Most people view themselves as a hero in their own eyes. It's rare that you have someone with a psychological profile that they view themselves as the villain in their own story. I once asked somebody about that. It's like, have you ever encountered anyone who doesn't view themselves as a hero in their own life story, but rather views themselves as the villain? And they were like, no, I've never had that before. I've never encountered that ever. I'm sure they exist. They would be a fascinating study, but kind of a rare find. I don't know if that would be an embodiment of like a Sigma or an Omega mindset or something like that, but it would be really fascinating to do some type of psychological study on people like that.
Show that it was more of it's a real battle. It's not like, it's not like stomping, and when I mean a battle, I mean ideologically, obviously. I mean like literally, physically, right? But ideologically, it's a battle. And regardless of like how we see it, what we wanna believe ourselves, Hassan is a very big streamer. Destiny is a very big streamer. A lot of these people
Yes, no
are
denying
relevant
that.
in different ways. So the idea
Relevant to certain circles of people, but the culture in general has turned against them. The cultural winds are no longer at their backs, and Destiny and Hassan's relevance is slipping. It may not be obvious in the short term, but it is. And it might even be something that they themselves don't necessarily notice. Partly because, their own pride and ego won't let them take notice of something like that. But their relevancy, their cultural cachet, that is on the downswing. And especially with the younger generations turning hard right, they are going to find themselves at best with a graying audience. Their audience and their reach is going to suffer a Woolworths effect, which for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the Woolworths effect is a reference to an old company called Woolworth Five and Dime. It's an American company, kind of the equivalent of your local corner drugstore. So your local Boots Pharmacy, your local Walgreens, CVS, that sort of thing. Trouble with Woolworths is that, to their credit, while they were around, they were just really, really good to their primary clientele. The most loyal customers, they did everything they could to take care of them. Trouble is, they did not do anything to go out and find new customers in the younger generations. And so the younger generations just sort of forgot about Woolworths, forgot it even existed. And the clientele they did have started to age out, started to get older, started to pass away, to the point where they hadn't done anything to cultivate new generations of customers. And so the whole thing just went tits up, and they had to close. People like Destiny and Hassan, I think, are encountering the same phenomenon. They may be able to pick up the occasional odd viewer in the younger generations, but they're going to find their audiences starting to grey, starting to get older, and their message, not really relevant with the younger generations. Younger generations, they want to hear something from the right, and even though he doesn't consider himself a right-winger, people like Asmongold fit that mold. VTubers like Leaflit and Kirsha, myself, we fit that mold. Even whether you love him or hate him, to a certain extent, even people like Nick Fuentes. You may hate some of the things that he says. You may disagree with him vehemently. You may find him cringe in many ways. A lot of people do. You can't deny the relevancy, though. He speaks to and he resonates with the younger generations. That part is undeniable. Yeah, I remember that shop. I remember buying a SNES from Woolworths. The future is right-wing simply because the past is left-wing. The youth will grow up rebelling and realize that right and centered ideals are genuinely better than the left in its current and recent past. Yeah, exactly. The right offers sanity, offers a return to normalcy and decency. Everything in recent years has just swung so far to the left that it's just been utter insanity. And people crave a return to order and decency, a return to that which is good, beautiful, and true. If we have time for it, I'll get into some of that's going on apparently in the realm of faith.
The idea is that I wanted the enemies to also look cool and menacing. Really drive home that the whole thing
That's the
is not
best
easy.
Destiny is
It's
ever
not
going to look
gonna
in
be
his
easy.
entire life.
You know what I mean? Like winning the ideological battles, the battles of heart
Aesthetically speaking, this is the best he's ever going to look at in his entire life. It's all downhill for him.
and minds of people is not going to be a simple thing. And that's kind of why they look so menacing. So you've got, I'll go through all of them here. So you've got Destiny, Frogan, Nyara, you've got Vosh. This is actually Cutie Cinderella, even though a lot of people thought it was.
I don't know if I would put Cutie Cinderella in the rogues gallery like that. I don't know if I would have made that call, because I think she's just more of a conformist and a follower, not necessarily some sort of attempt at being a thought leader. Same with Frogan. Frogan's just a meme at this point. But Cutie Cinderella, she defended Hassan because I think it's one of those sort of in-crowd things. She wanted to keep a seat at the cool kids table, and so that's why she did it. I think if she felt safe to break away from all that and do her own thing, she might be a bit more independent-oriented. Vaush is going to be... Who else did she have here? We had Vaush. He's a shitlib who thinks he's more clever than he actually is. Nyara is an autogynephiliac and just has had his mind warped by far too many chemical cocktails, trying so desperately to be a woman when he will never be a woman. And so much of it, I think, is just he's committed to the bit and just doing the whole rage baiting thing for clicks and views. So very much lacking in authenticity, which is another cardinal sin amongst the younger generations. It started with the millennials seeking that which is authentic, not really knowing what authentic was or what that looked like. Younger generations, I don't think necessarily have as much of a problem with that. They've got a better gut instinct and a better filter, I think, for what is authentic and what is not. Or at least I hope they do. I could be wrong about that. But people tend to spot a phony or know a phony when they see one. And who is one of the biggest phonies in this rogues gallery but Nyada VT? Best he's going to look, and he still just looks like an anime equivalent of a Kuma. Yes, true.
Denims. Denims is in the video though, and then you've got Casey, and so this one is the one.
I have no idea who Casey is. I mean, she looks like she could at one point have been cute girl, you know, got a bit of the librarian vibe going on with her, bookish type. You know, the sort of girl, she's not exactly a 7, 8, or a 9, but maybe a good solid 5 or 6. And it's like, yeah, you know, you might ask her out if she's not a crazy bitch. Trouble is, she's a crazy bitch, so you're not going to ask her out. And she's just going to continue to stew in her loneliness and continue to be just lonely and miserable and sad, angry, bitter. Anyway, who is this?
Everyone's like, who is this? Sinful Wiggly thing, thank you so much. Thank you. This is Excalibur Umbra Ree,
Who the fuck is that? I have no idea who that is. I mean, the avatar looks kind of cool, the way it's presented here, but cool avatar is quite easy to be... I mean, it could have an absolutely shit personality for all we know.
That's the reason why Excalibur Umbra is in here. Excalibur Umbra Ree was a guy...
Oh, old video, they are finally coming for me.
That like had an account on Reddit, and all he did was go after Asmund. He just shit-talked Asmund all day, and then the other half of his posts were gooning. So he was like the one that was in a perpetual cycle of hating and gooning, gooning and hating. And he actually went after me as well. So
what a pathetic existence. There's so much more to life than just hating and gooning. Though, I mean, nothing wrong with the occasional gooning. I mean, we all have our urges and our desires, but so much more to life than holding on to hatred.
So he went after both me and Asmund, and so I just put them in there. They've been banned, so who knows what happened to them, but I just wanted to...
And who the fuck cares, even? who if they got banned, it just sounds to me like the trash took itself out. So yeah, fuck this guy.
Put them in there. The hate gunner. Yeah, exactly. And then you got Hassan, and Hassan has like his own like little animated thing at the end because
Going kind of supersonic or Super Saiyan.
he's the main boss, right? He's the main big boss. So he goes like to the middle, and he's got the electricity around them. And here you've got Craig.
Yeah, I thought that was Stuttering Craig from Side Scrollers. The Dallas Stars cap, his trademark Dallas Stars cap.
Side scrollers, and he's got the 2% detector, and it turns into the heat map. But the fucking heat map.
Opinion dismissed. Oh, the black lesbian witches who took everybody's money from Black Lives Matter and bought themselves fancy houses. I mean, you want to talk about grifters? This lot here, some of the biggest grifters of all time, and they got away with it. I mean, they absolutely got the fuck away from it. And nobody on the left said a damn thing. Nobody in the black community said a damn thing about it. I mean, yeah, there were a few detractors. It's actually one of the companies I worked for. We had a trainer, black man, and we were on a break, and he was kind of talking about that and just going on about how much of a joke Black Lives Matter turned out to be. And I'm like, yeah, two angry lesbian witches, in the most literal sense. I believe they were practicing Wiccans, who took everybody's money and bought houses for them. And it's like, yeah, it's incredible. It's like I'm paraphrasing him, but he's like, I'm shocked that more of my people did not get pissed off about that hate map like in Aliens films. Yeah.
And again, it's like I said, I didn't want to make, like, even the people I would consider to be, like, incredibly villainous, I didn't really want to make them look super ugly. Not all of them, at least, right? I wanted a mix of, like, ugly and, like, good looking. So you
no one would blame you if you did that, though, love. They really wouldn't. And it's exactly what they deserved. Also, why is the champagne steaming? Why is there steam coming out of the champagne? Did they pour out the champagne into a pot and set it to boil? Oh, that sounds like that would taste awful.
I specifically made them like really cute, right? But these are like the Black Lives Matter people,
like an alien.
And
got it.
They're like, look at all the money we got from people while they're living in a mansion with their fucking lobster dinner, right?
Yeah, some people probably gave their last few dollars to this organization, and these fucking grifters here just took it and bought fancy houses for themselves. And just said, oh, I'm so oppressed, I deserve a house. They took the money and they ran. Anybody else did it, they would be in prison for embezzlement. But because they're black, they're going to get away with it. And they will continue to get away with it. And nobody is going to hold them accountable for it. Because they're too scared of being called racist. There's still too many people who are too scared of being called racist. Yeah, black communists. Yeah, champagne socialists. Communism for everybody else. Gulags for anyone who dares oppose them. But for them, no, they get steaming hot champagne and fancy dinners of steak and lobster in their big fancy mansions in expensive parts of the United States that most people can never even dream of affording a home there, let alone a home, period. But we're not allowed to question anything like that because they, quote-unquote, deserve it. And you're a racist for noticing these things. Fuck these people.
Like freaking grifting the money from it, right? And you can see this is actually two separate cuts. I really liked this specific cut, like this cut right here. I like this part, but I liked the beginning part as well of them like kind of laughing. So I actually cut them both twice. I put them together, but you can see there's a little bit of an error where
they're laughing their asses
So that's why
off.
it's like actually two different cuts. And like I didn't smooth it or anything because I just made it like two different cuts. And then this is Frogan, who was asking people to donate for her rent. And there's like this whole thing about it. So, and here he goes, like, I'm the one they hate, and I'm the one
If you have to beg people for rent like that, you're doing something wrong.
they adore. So it's all the goblins hating him. But they show up for his show. They show up for his show because they can't stop talking about him.
Yeah.
They're actually the biggest fans. So you have the Asmon concert with the goblins in the backgrounds with the fucking like glow sticks.
Yeah, they'll still get out the glow sticks and cheer them on.
Actually. All the hate watchers, yeah.
I will never understand hate watching. I will never understand hate watching. If there's something that I particularly dislike, I just don't watch it. Like, I have no interest in watching streams by Destiny, by Hassan, by Frogan, Cutie Cinderella, any of those people. I don't like their content. And many of them, I don't like them as people. And to say nothing of their detestable political views. So I don't watch them. I will never understand hate watching. It's like, why would you watch something that you don't like? That just seems like a tremendous waste of time. There's so many other things that you could be watching, so many other things you could be doing, and you choose to watch something that you hate. Are you some sort of fucking masochist or something? It's just, don't do that. It's not good for you. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your emotional health. Watching something that just raises your blood pressure. Watching something that you just have this natural visceral react to. I have the flu, so that's why I have so many typos. Oh, don't worry about it, Sid. It's all right. But yeah, why hate watch? Why watch something that you hate? You only have so many hours in the day. You only have so many days in the month, months in the year, and so many years to live your life. Why waste it watching things that you hate or dislike when you have the power to curate your own media feeds? You have the power to choose and the freedom to choose. So choose things that you like to watch. Choose content that makes you happy. Why do you think we do so many reacts to travel vids and car vids on this stream? Because that's what I like. You know, things about watches too. I react to those things because I like them. And because some of these places I've actually been there. And because I think that you will find it enjoyable as an audience as well. And we can have some fun. We can learn some things. We can have a few laughs. But more than anything, it's this positive experience where we all derive some sort of joy out of it. Yes, we talk about more serious things like politics, because life is not all sunshine and lollipops. But I do try to balance out the bad with the good.
In the video, Asmon talked about how, like, he measures success in decades, and that, like, it might not seem like what's happening now is like actually having an effect, but we'll see in decades if like all.
Yeah, you're sometimes even shorter time than that. I mean, the things that we are talking about now in the global political conversation were things that were absolutely verboten not even a few years ago. And now we finally have the freedom and the breathing room to talk about them. And the conversations that are not going away, and the people talking about them will not be ignored. I was seeing these conversations in things like alt-right circles over 5 years ago. The rest of the whole normie conversation out there is just now catching up. And now we're still seeing people putting out ideas and having these sorts of hard conversations about certain things that still make certain people uncomfortable, but the conversations still need to be had because that's the way that culture is shifting towards. Try and get to that after this.
Any of it even mattered, right? And then they was talking about, you guys are being really short-sighted. If you think, I think in the video he says basically, they're being really short-sighted. If they think that killing me will do anything, it does nothing, because if you kill me, another person takes my place. You know, yeah. Millions more will take my place. Like
they can try and take us down. Many of us are just going to pop back up again. And I mean, just look what happened with Charlie Kirk. They killed a man, but they didn't kill a movement. And if anything, it only radicalized a lot of people on the right. And frankly, it's about bloody time too. Because as angry as you think you are about what's going on in the world, trust me, you're not angry enough. You're not radicalized enough. Because so many people still don't know what time it is. So many people still don't realize how late the hour is.
You cannot kill the idea. You can kill the person, but you can't kill the idea. And that's kind of what.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly
imagine. What
imagine.
better way to show that than like Charlie Kirk, right? So here you have the shot with Charlie Kirk, and you know,
Ryo
obviously he's not
Hazuki?
with us anymore. So I couldn't really have him in the video, like as being like a active combatant. So I have Charlie.
My first impression was this is Charlie Kirk with Ryo Hazuki from Shenmue. That's what it looks like to me, especially with the brown jacket. Those of you who have played Shenmue before, you know what I'm talking about.
And Kangmin actually was one of the last.
Kangman Lee. Kangman Lee is the is the new Ryo Hazuki.
People that was with Charlie in Korea. So Kangmin and Charlie did a thing in Korea, and this was like a couple weeks or like a week or so like before what happened. So in, you know, they knew each other, right? So Charlie here pushing Kangmin forward and saying like, it's your turn now. And then Charlie actually backs up. He backs up out of the frame and leaves, right? So and then the camera follows Kangmin instead of Charlie. So you have it like, see, he pushes him forward and then he slowly steps back and he leaves. And then the camera stays locked on Kangmin as he walks forward. And all of that was intentional. Like that was all like intentional, like camera direction that like I put in.
Yeah.
And then here is just like, you know, a million more. So
Hey, I wonder who that bloke is. I recognize him. I also recognize some of these.
all of the people in the back represents each and every one of us, each and every one of you in chat. And you've got Mama Oko, you've got Benny Johnson,
Benny Johnson, that's who
Lord
that is.
Rexworth, Celestian Kitsu, and Templar.
Oh, she noticed me. My oh, she noticed me. Also, thank you for the shout out on stream like that, Leaflit. Again, this is this is really bloody awesome. This is good.
And then you have
Kirsha.
popping out with the Farron shot here, and you can see it's really kind of messy, and it's because it's
amazing
actually really
Foxu
hard to do.
woman.
So like have her jump out of here, and then that was like an exercise in like kind of screen transitions again, and it's a little messy because it's AI. But if you look at Naruto, right, like if you were to like watch like fight scenes in Naruto, a lot of them are kind of messy as well. In betweens, because in betweens are kind
Sorry,
of
what was that?
a lot of them are kind of messy as well.
My pain is far greater than yours. With that face, I can see why, yeah.
In betweens, because in betweens are kind of meant to over exaggerate, which is why for Speed you see her entire body is just like smudged and elongated, just kind of whatever, and then as it comes into focus you can see it actually just comes together, and then like it actually solidifies everything. And this is literally literally the scene, literal Zoltrak. It's literally like the same. It's like the exact same frame, basically. Just like her stance is a little bit higher up, but it's basically the same. And this part here, this was really fun. This was a really annoying cut to do. And so this was, you know, I don't fear the Reaper. I don't fear the grave. So it's basically Asmund, and it's kind of also about the person who got mad at him for the fan art thing with the mace being too small. But this whole thing is about you know,
I must have missed that bit of drama, but it doesn't really sound like it's all that important.
I don't fear the Reaper, I don't fear the grave. It's basically I will face all of these challenges, right? It doesn't matter. Like none of it scares me, and that's kind of like what it's about. And you have a lot of the games that he played. So this is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Maglio and Galanza, like one of the hardest fights in the game. I know I played this game a fuck ton. Then it goes into Leroy, basically all situations in which like death is expected, right? And then you have Leroy Jenkins here. He steps forward, and then you've got what was his name, Artorias from Dark Souls. And then you've got Lord Gyobu from Sekiro. And it's like was really, really rough to do this. The way I did all of these is I literally had to Photoshop. I had to literally take each end frame like this, and I had to cut out the entire, like, I had to Photoshop out this and then add it in.
I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been to do a cutout of all of this detail I mean, Leaflit said this took something like 30 plus hours. I can imagine this right here is what took up a good chunk of that 30 hours.
As like another frame. I literally at each point I had to Photoshop each individual frame. So like right here, like this frame, I had to Photoshop this into this part, Photoshop it into the next part. And that's why the transitions are so smooth, right? Like,
I mean, yeah, no, really good. God, I have to wonder if it wouldn't have been easier, though, to render Asman as player character here, but all of this be a green screen, or just solid green background, and then swap out the green for all of these. I mean, it still looks fantastic, but I wonder if that would have made the workflow easier. I wonder about. I don't even know if that would be possible. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But even doing something like where you have the character, but have the background be transparent, I wonder if that would have helped with the workflow. I don't even know if that would be possible, but just spitballing ideas here post-mortem.
that's why it looks so clean, because I actually Photoshopped each one. So if you watch it again, you'll see that that it's so clean that only the background changes.
Yeah, this turned out beautifully.
And it's like seamless. It was really annoying to do that. Yeah, that one took me a couple hours, like just that part. Then here, like, there's nothing left to save, and then it's like, you know, it's you know, the riots, more riots, and then this one, I fucked up on this, and it bothers me. This is like one of the errors I made, and it's I put the wrong transition on this. So these are film dissolve, and this is a fade to black on accident because I just added it late to the thing. And it's the World of Warcraft, like the really shitty World of Warcraft cutscene. And it's like the character was like really annoying. And it's like, wow, we used to have really badass cutscenes and now we have this like annoying ass bitch. And that's basically like, you know, there's nothing left to save, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, this one was a real fucking low blow. I just thought it would be really funny to add their numbers,
good.
Like their view numbers. So I
beating them by 10,000 at least, which is not surprising.
Went onto Twitch Tracker and just copied it, and I just put it on the screen, just so like, you know, everyone knows, you know, just so everyone knows. And I put it in with the scream because I thought it would just be really funny, like wow, and it's like. All right, so here is where the most esoteric joke is in the whole thing. So you got Hassan creating a blue pillar, and this will come in later, and he uses it to rise up to Asmund. Like Asmund is above him, right? So in the scene, Asmund's not
trying to get on his
Asmund
level,
here,
but he fails every time.
And he creates the blue pillar to launch himself into the sky. This is Connor Eats Pants, because there was a whole drama about Hassan botting allegedly, and Connor Eats Pants saying, well, Asmongold was botting, and it was like Asmund did a whole segment about it. He was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I know you and you know me, and you're saying I'm botting. The hell's wrong with you, bro? And it was basically that. So
he was saying it to get clicks and views. He was saying it to get clicks and views. He didn't really mean it. It was just one of those wild accusations he's wanted to throw out there because he wanted attention and clout. And it's such short-term thinking, I imagine he's like, I'll just lob the accusation out there and figure out a way to justify it later.
So he creates a green, like he flies into the air with this green line. And you can actually see him here in the overhead. So he flies up, and you can see like he goes overhead right here. So you have the shot from below, switches to the shot from the side. For those of you that don't know, the most esoteric joke in here is this is the chart of the follows chart for Hassan from Twitch Tracker that Asmund showed on his stream about 4 days
That-
ago, and
damn, that is a
the
deep
joke.
cut.
'Cause it's literally the fucking chart.
That is a deep cut.
It's the botting chart. Again, a very esoteric joke. No one
Yeah.
probably even could have possibly imagined that's what it was. But a couple
I had
people
no
did find
idea.
it out.
I had no idea.
And then just kind of generic fighting here. A little bit of Danmaku action. And that was just the sides clashing. And then you've got the boss coming out. The giant pig monster with the white fragility.
Not really much of a boss, is it?
And then you've got Brandon Donut. And this is actually James Reeves. A lot of people are saying it was Eli, but it's actually James Reeves. Yeah, sorry for the confusion
Guntubers?
there.
There's Mizuki. Caleb Hammer.
Eli would have been sick. Yeah, it would have been. But the reason I put James in there is because I've interacted with James before. It's pretty funny.
Alright.
He also jokes about hating anime, so I thought it'd be really funny to put him in to make him an anime, you know.
At least he's joking about it. It'd be an unpardonable
And
sin
also,
if it were
like,
true.
I'm just being, like, I really like how this transition turned out because this was very hard to do, to just do like the 180. So this was actually completely intentional, where I had like the boss appears, and then it screams, and then the camera pans, like the camera like kind of rotates 180 to show them. Like, the badasses have arrived. Oh shit, there's a giant Karen pig monster. Time to shoot.
Open fire, lads.
And then here you've got Mizu and Denims in the fight here. Caleb Hammer. So the joke here is that Caleb Hammer's not really a part of this fight. Oh, my bad. He's not really a part of this fight. He's just like, hey Frogan,
He's there.
wanna talk to me?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit, and she just runs. because Caleb asked. So when Frogan was on the entire I don't have any money, please give me money arc, Caleb was like, I'll give you money if you come on my show and we can audit your finances. And so what happened was she said, nope, I'm not doing it. So that's the joke. The joke there. This is
She just wanted a handout. That's all she wanted. She just wanted a handout. She wanted some simps to pay her rent. Not interested in getting her finances in order.
Destiny yelling at Warren Smith, my other favorite
Oh, yeah, Warren.
debater. Casey and Alana.
Kick her ass, Alana.
Honestly, no real reason I went with the frost form. I just thought it looked cool. I like blue.
Yeah.
Too many red fox girls, to be honest. So I thought blue would be better.
Thankfully, she has both.
Hirohei and Anna Valens. And the reason why Hirohei uses like these blasters, like these like dual wield laser guns, is because Hirohei main Star-Lord in Marvel Rivals. And if you watch his videos, he's always been Star-Lord.
Oh.
He's like really good at Star-Lord actually. So that's why
Okay.
he's like flying around with like dual guns. Okay, now this cut was fucking hilarious. This one is
That's
the
Nick Shirley, I
Somalians.
believe.
Julio was like, it would be really hilarious if Shirley was running from Somalians that were riding on like the pig from earlier, right? Which is what
Yes.
Julio's idea was, but I made them
Yes.
like individual pigs instead.
But no, still a brilliant idea. Well done, Julio. Well done.
And the whole idea behind it is that the pigs are all of the Karens that are fighting for, you know, the Karens that are wilding out about wanting more scammers, trying to defend scammers. And so they're the useful piggies that are being ridden by the Somalians.
Yes. Useful
Somalian
idiot
scammers.
piggies.
And they're chasing after, Nick Shirley because he's exposing them and he's just running away from them, right? And in this is actually 2 different cuts put together. As you guys saw earlier when we were showing the video, it was actually like a 2-cut. It's 2 different videos overlaid on each other. Now the hard thing here, this is kind of silly, is that it was actually incredibly hard. Was the pink one intentional? Yeah, actually the one behind. Here, I can show you the original cut, I think. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have it. Because some of them I didn't actually save to my computer. Sorry, it's very small. I only have a very small preview of it. But the other one actually has green hair in the back. You can see, like, very small
you can
picture,
see a bit.
But that's kind of what the original looked like. And then,
Okay.
anyway, so basically, it was really hard to do because I said Karens as pigs being, you know, ridden by Somali scammer hog riders. I did this cut in Grok, and this was a very difficult one to do. It took me around 80 gens to complete, and half of those gens, I kid you not, half of them, it kept trying to do Somalians fucking white women, and like half of the gens were literally Somalians white women. Like it's actually so crazy.
It's
yeah,
funny
I mean,
because it's also kind of true when you think about it. Oh my god.
I can't show it on stream, obviously.
No,
but, like,
obviously
that's
not.
what half of the gens were. And I was like, why is it doing this? Like,
just another reminder that no matter how many times they try to nerf it, chat, Grok is based. Grok is actually pretty fucking based.
it was very hard to like get the whole thing going. Anyway, so it was very hard to get the shot, is what I'm trying to say. And then the Nick Shirley was a different video. I kind of showed it to you guys a little bit earlier, but you know, it's a different keyframe on a green screen.
Oh, okay, good.
So
yeah, she did
this
the
whole
thing
thing
with the
was
blue
green
screen.
screened. Him running was green screen.
Green
in front,
screen, yeah.
keyed out, and then you've got the Somalians in the background. And
Brilliant.
this is Mentis.
Mentis Wave,
helicopter.
yeah.
Mentis helicopter tours with.
His helicopter tours been piloted by Hatsune Miku, maybe? Or anime Fumo plushie girl? Don't know if she's a cat or a fox.
The Chirano Fumo as the pilot, because
Oh,
Mentis
okay.
likes Fumos. Now this one's kind of hard to get. Oh,
That's exactly what so many communists need. They just need to be dropped from helicopters.
like almost nobody got this. This is, anybody know who this is? Almost nobody got it. It's freaking Decoy. But the problem is he gets punched in the back of the head. So you barely see his face, really. But it's Decoy getting punched by freaking the Montez girl. So the one in the back is the
Is that... Holy shit, that is the Montez girl.
Montez girl. If you don't know Montez, it's a joke from Side Scrollers, and it's
Yeah, here we go.
basically this it's a
her.
girl who is yelling at a guy, and she sucker punches him. Like she comes up and punches him in the back of the head, and then he suplexes her, and that's like the joke. Yeah, she fucked around and found out. So Montez girl punches Decoy in the face from behind, because that's what happened in the original clip. Decoy is like, bitch, what? And he's like, boom, and he's like knocks her into the air.
Montez!
And then you have above her is Phoenix, because Phoenix makes all the Montez videos on Side Scrollers. I think he does them all. And then so you have Phoenix, he's like ready for the setup. So boom, and she's flying in the air because she got
Radar kick.
And then Phoenix kicks her into position, and then he like dictator stomps her like down into the hole. And that's kind of the Montez thing. This is a Phoenix from Side Scrollers, and that's kind of the combo. It's a combo, yeah, the wombo combo with the Decoy voice over here. I mean, it kind of. I mean, it does look like him, doesn't it? Like, I feel like it does look like Decoy.
Yeah, it does.
Like, for the frames that you can see his face, it definitely does look like him.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, that's what it is. The Super Smash
I
Brothers
recognized it was Phoenix from the Rumble baseball cap.
combo here. And then you've got Shu here.
What is that shit? Okay.
And this is Shu on head, not really participating, but being a.
She turned out cute as an anime girl. Of course, Shu is just naturally cute IRL, but looks good as an anime waifu.
But being like just disappointed in everything. Like she's like standing on top of the hill watching
Yeah.
the battle, and she's like, "This sucks." She's like,
The only thing that's missing is a can of white Monster Energy. I guess the only thing that probably would have made it a bit more obvious that it's shoe on head.
exasperated. Yeah, she's like, I don't like anything that's happening, and that's why she face palms here, and then she just turns and looks back up, and then she turns and she looks back up to see the next fight. So this is like basically the transition is her like seeing the fight in the air. So she sees the Montez thing happen. She's like, ugh. And she goes, oh, fuck, this is so stupid. And then she looks up and she sees Johnny Somali and Legal Mindset. And
Okay, so that's who I was wondering who that was. At first I thought it was like, wait, is that me fighting some sort of ramen noodle thief or something? I was like, no, that's Andrew, Legal Mindset. And okay, which figures Johnny Somali would be trying to steal a thing of ramen noodles. Fucking punk.
it was kind of fun. So the reason he has a rapier is because, legal, like very precise sort of a thing. So it's Johnny Somali, and
No, good choice.
Johnny
Good choice of
Somali's
sword.
got he's just like he's carrying a cup of ramen if you look at it. And the reason he's carrying a cup of ramen is because what got him in big doo-doo trouble is that Johnny Somali was at a convenience store and he was throwing ramen. Yeah, he was throwing like cup ramen on the ground and making people clean it up after him because he knew like they were gonna do it if he didn't do it right. Like they were gonna clean it up anyway. So he was doing that. So he has the cup of ramen. This is a really, really fast cut. It's really hard to see.
Yes.
But, and this is all intentional. This is what I mean, guys, if I told the AI, generate me a video of Legal Mindset fighting Johnny Somali, would it have him throwing a ramen at Legal Mindset and Legal Mindset parrying the ramen? Would that happen if I did that?
Maybe.
So it's like the people that say, oh,
Only
you
one
just
way to
typed
find
a
out.
prompt and you just typed whatever and you just got what you got. No, I intentionally did this, right? So like he has the ramen. If you look, he runs back. You can see the ramen like right there. He throws it at Legal Mindset, and Legal Mindset turns and he parries it. Boom! He parries the ramen, which cuts it in half, and it doesn't hit him because like
Beautiful.
Each element goes the other way, and it's like.
Beautiful.
There's no way for the AI to
Absolute
do that without
cinema.
input. It's literally impossible. Like, it was what I imagined in my mind. It's what I wanted to happen, right? That was my will. And then you have just,
The main
I wanted
fight.
this to be the coolest fight. So this really highly kinetic fight, like super kinetic. I want it to be one camera cut.
Exactly,
so if you
Void.
notice, a lot of
Absolute
these are
cinema.
multi-cut. A lot of the older ones are kind of like based on multi-cuts. But I wanted this to be one single cut. So see, the camera doesn't ever cut. It just keeps flowing, the camera. And this was on purpose. This was like a directing choice. And I wanted it to be super kinetic, which is why like the punches are so strong in it, right? And then I timed the kicks to the music. So you have like the dodge there that's timed to the music. And this was all on purpose.
That sounds like that took a lot of work.
See, you can hear it, like it timed it to like the dodge. Like listen again, you can hear that the music element is timed with the dodge. That was on purpose.
Most people
And then
would
you get
not
the
go
roach
that
punch.
hard. That's incredible.
Again, multiple cuts here. A lot of people say that like Hassan didn't get hit here, but I feel like he obviously, I feel like he very obviously gets hit.
That's
But
impact.
I guess like the impact
an
could have
impact.
been better, but I don't know. Anyway, he gets hit.
It's not perfect, but it's still good.
So like one really funny thing here is, so he gets hit, he tumbles through the air. But the funny thing is if you look at how he loses, and this was on purpose, right? He loses trying to look as cool as possible. So if you look, he just maintains like his posture as he's flying through the air because he's trying to be really cool. He's trying to be like, I'm so cool, even though like he just got fucking hit like in the face. And that was like completely intentional. Right? He tries to look so cool like while he's flying through the air.
He's never gonna be cool. He's never gonna be cool. He is a fucking dude, bro, masquerading as an activist and doing a piss poor job of it. He is nothing more than champagne socialist living off of mummy and daddy's money. No, he's never gonna be cool. He's just a bitch. That's all he's ever been. Probably all he ever will be.
If you guys didn't notice, like a cool detail here, you can actually see the place, like how far he sent him, right? So you couldn't really see it in like this initial thing. You can't really see like how far he sends him, right? All you see is like close-ups of him tumbling. So you don't really see how far he went, but you can actually see it. You can see right here in the back. See this right here? You can see the smoke rising from where he punched him. So you can see like how far.
If she wanted to do it tokusatsu style, that would have been the point where he just sort of fell down with sparks flying everywhere, and then all of a sudden, massive explosion.
How far he got fucking punched, right? It's like, again, how would the AI do that? How would the AI do that, Chad, if I didn't fucking tell it to do that, right? Like it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be like random smoke there if I didn't tell it to do that.
Go ahead and report me. I'm an irrelevant retard.
You got Ms. Maduro.
Right.
Johnny Depp, because he covered a lot of Johnny Depp videos.
That's what you said.
Elon and meme JD. And everyone cheering because like they were watching the fight, right? So this is like everybody was watching the fight. Even like Maduro was watching the fight. You can see like Maduro actually has a TV, and he sees the fight and he's like,
"Shit,
oh, no.
man, another L for socialism.
I wanted them to lose. Maybe they'll
another
let me
L
go.
for the fucking communists. God
Maybe
damn
the
it!
commies will let me go."
I'm an irrelevant retard. Right.
I like the lyrics when they say "irrelevant retard." Cut to Nicolas Maduro. I think our dear lovely Leaflit was trying to say something there. I think there was another little statement being made there, but good on her.
That's what you said. But you.
So in this scene, he's got 6 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. AI still struggles with hands. AI still struggles with hands and fingers. They still can't get that quite right. But maybe she'll talk about it in the video. But if AI is fucking up hands and fingers, it's only because it's taking the kind of the law of averages with all of the existing art out there. And apparently it's just because a lot of artists out there, they suck at hands and fingers. It's a challenge for any artist.
And this was originally an error, but we intentionally didn't fix it. We specifically were like, you know what? Leaving it in for all the haters on purpose.
Go on.
You can easily fix this. Easily fixable. But let them see, right? Like did a little bit of bait, you know, a little bait. Let them get mad, you know. It worked, by the way. It worked pretty well. You know, it was a little tribute for all of the AI haters. You know, we left it in there.
Right.
Fuck the haters.
That's what you said. But you're still watching.
And it's just instant transmission.
You're always watching.
And then it returns to the original scene.
It is what it is.
And then it is what it is. And that's like the whole video there. I explained everything, right? Did I? I think I did.
I think
explained
you did.
literally every reference,
I think you did.
every little thing here.
I think you did, love.
You guys have any questions about like how I made it and stuff? Would you use psyop anime You know, I would have if I thought about it. That was another one I wanted to put on, but I just didn't have the space to do it. Corgal Greyheart, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. I wanted to add psyop anime. There was a lot of people I wanted to add, like Metatron, and I mean, I would have added like a liberal hive mind. There's like a bunch of other people I would have added. I just didn't have space, to be honest. What are the lyrics at the beginning?
Save them for the next one. Save them for the next one.
Of the second part of the chorus? Put them in the box, let the walls be cold and white. Throw the keys away. And end this mental blight. Institutionalize the rot. Let the asylums rise again. I'm the harbinger of logic, the surgeon of their pain. The world will be a paradise, a clean and silent land when every screaming retard is dealt a heavy hand. Yeah, karaoke version when? If you guys want it, I can actually do it. You guys want it? I can do a split version if you want.
Yes, please.
Obviously, the paradise scene's taking mushrooms way in the background. It sounds like.
Honestly, I would love to see like a jazz version of this. I've seen so many people take like hard rock, heavy metal, and then turn it into the most chill jazz music or something like that. I could probably do a jazz cover version of this. That would be kind of cool. Maybe a jazz version. Maybe also a standards version, you know, like something that Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin, somebody like that would sing. That would be interesting. Be interesting if a version like that could come out. I would sing that.
Use Suno? I did use Suno, yes. Suno 5 to do it, yeah. Yeah, it's institutionalized the rot. Yeah, it's just Suno things. Sometimes a little bit hard to how did I first learn about Mizuki? I saw like a reaction videos and stuff from her. Actually, Zarg. That's how I saw her. Yeah, after the cream of the slop, yeah. How about check out Udio? Yeah. I'm a big fan of Udio myself, says Orange. Is it better? I haven't used Udio, so you know maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out Mizuki's content, chat, go check it out. It's pretty fucking based, and honestly, I believe she is a Brazilian VTuber. I don't know. She has stated a desire to want to move out of her country, and part of me is just like, well, darling, I have an American passport, and, you know, I could help you with that. Just sign here on the marriage contract. You know, marriage of convenience between two VTubers that ultimately transforms into happily ever after, something like that. I don't know. It's an option. For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Do you think it's better than Suno? You made the song first? Yeah, the song existed first, actually. The song did exist first. The song was actually released on Spotify before I made this video. So the song was already out, and it was on Spotify and iTunes and like Amazon Music and stuff like that. And then it came out after. You know, the voices come out clearer. I'll have to try it out then. Who did you want to add that didn't make the cut? Oh man, a lot of people. I wanted to add Basecamp. I wanted to add Metatron. There's just a lot of people, really. I love that someone uploaded I Means Love on YouTube.
I am just forever grateful I made the cut. I am forever grateful that I made the cut on that. This is magnificent. And I am just honored that one of my Oshis would even notice me like this and think to include me, even as just a brief little cameo for a few seconds. I'm just absolutely chuffed to bits. And it's not the first time she's done something like this with generative AI. I think she took one of my YouTube thumbnails and turned it into this really awesome anime opening. She was just kind of experimenting, playing around. I'm just like, this is so random and yet so incredibly kind and generous of you. And she's like, oh, it didn't take me very long. I'm just like, I don't, it doesn't matter how long it took you. The point is, you thought enough of me to create something like this. And all the debates aside about, is AI art and all of this, it still comes from the heart. It came from her heart. And that to me is it's just so incredibly kind. And it's just really, really kind of her to just think of me like that. I'm still at a loss of words on how to describe how I feel about that, but just her taking notice of me like that and just taking time out of her, what we know is a very busy day. Every day is a busy day for her. And making something like that. I don't forget things like that. I wish I knew how to repay that sort of kindness. I will think of something. I will think of something, but it's genuinely one of the nicest things anyone has ever done for me. And I shan't forget it. Have you seen AI Slop by Jessbro? It's an AI music video on YouTube. I am not.
Yeah, I'll put it up on YouTube soon. We'll have it up on the official channel soon. I'm thinking about remaking, well, not like really fully remaking, just like partially remaking, like taking out the bad scenes from Be Kind or Else and then uploading that. Yeah, if you guys don't know, by the way, I have a lot of these. Like this is not the first one I've made.
No.
If you're watching on YouTube, check out the song Be Kind or Else. It's another one that I did like this. I also have I Means Love is another one. One
Oh,
for the
yes.
Army, is there a limit? Yeah, it ran
That one she did almost as a troll to someone on X.
out of memory, basically. DRC. The more stuff that you add to a scene, the more that the AI skits those out because it just doesn't have the memory to handle it.
Yeah.
Put 'em in the box. Let the walls be cold and white.
That is absolutely brilliant. All right. Dropping this in chat for everyone.